good to see you. I'm very honored to have you in our micro interview series around sustainability.
Hello, Jutta. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Jens, let's talk about sustainability. In your view, what are the game-changing shifts and opportunities for semiconductors?
Yeah, Jutta, for semiconductors, these are interesting times indeed. Just think of a certain system, and it's almost every system we have around us that has a logic of three words. It has something that senses, it has something that thinks, and it has something that starts an action. And that's exactly what semiconductors can contribute for. If you talk about sensing, that's what we call the sensors. For the Bosch Group, it's our MEMS, micromechanical sensors, where we are world-class leaders. If you talk about thinking, it's a microcontroller. In our case, it's rather an ASIC that we develop for our automotive system that takes the sensor signal into a computing brain and starts calculating something. And then finally comes the action. You are expecting something. That's where we switch something on or off, or we manipulate some little electric engine. That's the trio of sense, think, act that semiconductors can do. And whatever we have around us in our world, that's somehow fitting to these three words. That's why we are growing so much with semiconductors. The semiconductors are also the enablers for the software. Software-driven companies, software is the new oil. Data is the new oil. These are words and sentences that are available to everybody of us. And the enablers for it are semiconductors. That's why we are pushed so much at the moment. Lucky times.
That's so interesting, Jens. In your current environment, what have you observed to be critical pivots for power semiconductor production?
Well, that's even more challenging, Jutta. Power semiconductors are very important on a certain term. Let me come again with some of these fancy words. I would go with automated, intelligent, connected, and electrified. What is our expectation as a customer, as a user? Our expectation is that we do not have any cord to any of our toys, our things around us. We want to have our things connected to the internet, connected to each other. We want to have them intelligent. If something can be automized, it needs to be automized, and it will be automized, and in an intelligent way, in a sense of we take all environmental information and data in and compute that to an action that is started. That's the reason why most of the things become battery-driven. And with a battery-driven vehicle thing, you need something to switch something on and off. That's where the power semiconductors come in. And just take the electrification in a car. That's where we grow at the moment. Well, I would want to say like hell, but we're growing quite a lot. And you see in my background picture, you see my new Dresden fab, the newest semiconductor front-end fab of Bosch. And it's exactly the product we started production with. It's a power semiconductor. So big growth ahead.
That is truly a growing business, Jens. Can you tell me how Bosch is responding to evolving consumer values and priorities around sustainability?
Jutta, I would want to answer that question in two different directions. The one direction I would start with is business sustainability. With this fab in my background, we initiated the biggest invest of the Bosch Group in history. Why can I say this? Because semiconductors are already really a part of our history. It's 50 years old. engagement in a technology, even with some throwbacks at the one or the other time, but a long-term success story. It enables our systems, it enables our products, and of course, it contributes to the business success of the Bosch Group. That's what we call sustainability on a business base. Whenever we engage into something, it's set up to be a long-term engagement or not just a short-term adventure. Sustainability in another direction is environmental sustainability. And you have, of course, heard that our CEO, Denner, started almost 2 years ago to become CO2 neutral. I guess we have been one of the first big companies, big global players that announced we want to be CO2 neutral. And yeah, it worked. I mean, it's possible for the production, for the energy that we consume, for the travel we do to become CO2 neutral. And it has become already part of our DNA. So you read more and more about products that contribute, products that get changed because of footprint, whether it's decarbonization or it's just simply waste. So that's also a way that we are going forward, as we normally do with our business. Whenever we step into something, we really mean it serious.
That sounds good, Jens. My last question to you is, in your view, what are the most important behavioral changes that both organizations and consumers will need to implement to have an impact?
Well, I guess, first of all, I mean, it's awareness. But I guess we are getting all aware that something is going around on this world and changes somehow. And it's obviously not to the best. So we need to do something. To start an activity is pretty obvious. And then it's, on the other hand, it's a question of how do I want to be as a company? How do I want to be as a leadership team? How do I act? And that's exactly what we have set into our visions. It's a top priority management topic to go for environmental sustainability and business sustainability. So we are moving in that direction. It's part of our management DNA. It's part of our vision. It was broken down into strategy and measures, and it's tracked as a regular business target. So we are moving in that direction. And well, we get great feedback from our customers. We get great feedback from society. So there's obviously an openness to do that and move into that direction.
Jens, on behalf of Boyden International, I thank you so much for sharing your valuable thoughts and insights on sustainability. This is really appreciated.
Thank you very much for having me here. It was really fun.